What's going on, boys? NealGuides here. Welcome back to the video. In today's video we have the meta tactics for the 4-3-3 second variation. I just want to quickly say this video before I get onto it is sponsored by my Patreon series, my FIFA School Series. You do want to get better at FIFA, you can come join my FIFA School Series. We've got in-depth videos, and right now we have a series Division 10 all the way to Elite Division. So if you ever want to become an Elite Division player, I have actual video going from Division 10 all the way to Elite Division, and some of the commentary, and of course not just that, loads of other tutorials. Come join thousands of others in my other FIFA School Series, and you know what? If you join, you don't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money. That is how sure I am you're going to get better. Learn the meta before it comes to better. Learn to defend, attack patterns, walkthroughs, how to create space. Everything that is not my YouTube channel, it's all on the Patreon. Link is down below in the description, patreon.com/NealGuides. But let's go over the tactics and instructions for the 4-3-3 second variation. Now, this is a formation. Admittedly, it's not for my playstyle, but this is being tested out with some of my friends. I've used it. I like it a little bit. I don't want to play with it because it's not my preference, personally speaking. But it's being tested and it's being used. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say it's going to go into my setup, because it's not. But for those of you that like the 4-3-3 and you like to play pretty aggressive, this would be a good formation for you. So defense start, we've gone on press after possession loss. Not one that I normally do. I normally go after pressure on heavy touch. You can either do both. What I would say is, if you're not that good at pressing, you can use this one, but this one's a bit more advanced because you always press all the time. Whereas this one is more of a conservative press. Think of this like, okay, when the game deems a good chance of you winning the ball, the base of the team press. So it's kind of like if your opponent takes a very heavy touch, especially bad gameplay, your opponent takes a lot of heavy touches. So pressure on heavy touch is really the go-to, I would say. But you can use press after possession loss if you want to, but just do bear in mind you do press all the time for 7 seconds. You're up against someone who's a good player, he can outsmart you. So anyone that's above Division 2, I would say lean towards heavy touch, is my opinion. Now the width, we put this on 55. I'll be honest, the 4-3-3 is quite a wide formation quite naturally. When you defend, you can't defend in a 4-5-1 system because you're one CDM holding. The left wing, the left back and right back, they kind of tuck inside. And of course the left wing and right wing, they come back. It's kind of defending a 4-5-1 system. So it is a pretty wide formation naturally. So we don't want to make it any wider to create any gaps in between the lines. We left it at 55, a pretty much balanced width. The depth, we're at 50. Perfect. Now, if you want to, you can increase this to 60, but don't go any higher, because at that point you're getting a bit too high, I think, with the 4-3-3, especially with one CDM. But it's still a very good formation for pressing, especially when that numerical advantage up against your opponent's 2 CDMs. I personally want a 50. To be honest, it's actually quite a good balance. I've tested it on 50, I've used it on 50, so definitely use that. Now, build up play, because we've got 2 centimeters, which I'll go over in a second, and we've got one guy sitting. I prefer long ball, so the left center mid and the right center mid, they make runs going forward. It's important, I would say, to have long ball. For the chance creation, kind of a NealGuides rare, you can basically choose whatever you want. I personally use balanced or forward runs on most of my attacking formations. But if you want to use possession, you can actually use it with this formation, because it's a 4-3-3. You've got 3 center mids. So if you do like to pass the ball around, it's actually a really good formation. As I said, this doesn't suit my playstyle. Personally, doesn't suit my playstyle. And in fact, a lot of you, when you try this out, and you might not even suit your playstyle either, but try it, because for some reason, some people love the 4-3. I think people who play quite slowly, like to build up quite methodically, do really prefer the 4-3-3, especially creating those overlapping runs in the middle. But I do use balance. Long ball and balance is what I use. The width, I'll be honest, leave it on 50. You can even drag it down to 45. And the reason why I say this is because the width really only affects the wide players. You can always use hug the sidelines anyway. There is a slight difference in width in terms of the middle players. Realistically, 50 is quite balanced. The 4-3-3, just because the way you have 3 midfielders and 3 attackers, it does work pretty well. Players in the box, you can increase this to however you want. You can leave this on 6 because you have the left center mid, right center mid join attack, or you can manually override this manually. I normally leave it on 4 and I override the setting. So when we go over the instructions, so the left mid and right mid, you can put them on comeback and offense. Okay, you want fast players here, quick players. Now, if you like to build up and cut inside, this isn't this for me. I don't like it, okay? But for possession, you can use cut inside, and people have been saying that it works well for them. An elite player tested this, and he said it works very well with cut inside. The problem is you have to be quite patient. I don't like being patient, so I just like it being unbalanced, and that way the players do what they want. but they can't do the right thing most of the time. They come close when they should, and you can always push them forward with the L1 button. So what I would say is you can always use cut inside and push them forward with the L1 button, but leave them unbalanced. What I would say is don't put it on come short, put them on getting behind. That's my best advice, especially in a 4-3-3. They make those quite impeccable runs in behind, and normally they make those runs across goal. So you put them with cut inside as well. They normally try to make those runs. So if you get the ball on the one side of the box, the opposite guy cuts inside, it does work pretty well. When you use this formation, you'll remember what I'm talking about, and you'll see. For the strikers, stay forward, stay central. You can leave it on balanced. I don't leave it on get it behind, just because you only have one striker. You don't always want your striker to be running forward all the time. Don't forget your build-up play is on long ball, but your chance creation is on balance. So if you are going to be using possession, then I would say maybe look at putting getting behind for your strike is what I would say. Now, for your left centre mid and right centre mid, so you want a traditional striker here, and you kind of want a left mid and right mid here. So, you know, someone like Ronaldo, Mbappe on the wing, you know, Son, the Neymars, the Vinicius Juniors, players like that on the wing areas. Now, for the left centre mid and right centre mid, you have two options. You can have either A, 2 attacking options here, or B, 1 defensive, 1 attacking, or 2 box-to-boxes. Now, normally what I do is I have my most defensive player, which is Onyeka, as the guy that holds, yeah? He's the CDM. This is why I use the second variation, because you got one CDM. He's on cut passing lane, stay back while attacking, cover centre. As I mentioned in the Patreon series, you have to be able to run back with your centre backs. It is the most important thing to run back, and that cut passing instructions really changes the way that CDM does perform. So when you're sitting, you're going to be fine. When you're defending, these guys are going to come back, that's fine. But when you're attacking, you want these guys to go forward. So I would say ideally try to get either here, try to get a high and try to get a medium high, as in, sorry, a high medium. That means high attacking and defensive work rates medium, or sometimes a medium actually works pretty well. Both of these cards on balance with these work rates are perfectly fine. So as you can see over here, Onyeka is my CDM with high work rates, or medium high. That's what you want here. He's on stay back while attacking, so it doesn't really matter. But for my right centre mid, we've got Llorente. He's a medium high work rates. We put him on get into the box. You can adjust that manually. I put him on cover centre defensively because I want him to defend the central areas, because these guys have got the wide areas anyway. If these guys won't come back on defence, you can defend the wide areas. Because these guys are coming back anyway, you want to create the midfield 3, and the left wing and right wing will kind of tuck in to create the left and the right of the 5. So I left him on balance. Now, for Nedved, he's also high medium. So what you could do is you can put him on balanced as well, and you put him get inside the box for cross him, then cover center. Now, if you've got medium work rates, put them on balance. If you've got high, put them on balance. Now, if you've got a work rates that you don't like, let's say for example you got here a low high, or let's say you don't like medium high, they don't make the movements that you want. Because with medium, you kind of have to wait for them to make the run and make the movement themselves. You can always put get forward on the player, and that way it'll just make a run going forward. Don't forget you do have the long ball feature, so this will kind of push these players. That's the main thing with long ball. Think of long ball as, okay, you know what, we're building up. It's going to push the left centre mid and right centre mid forward. That's the way you got to look at it. So what I would say here is try to go with a high and a medium high, or high medium is what I would say. Otherwise, what you can do is you can have one guy on stay back while attacking, manually control it. So you have 2 players on stay back, and then you have one the centre mids on balance. That's the other way you can do it. But for most of you guys, put both of these guys on balance, see how they perform, and you might actually like it. For the players in the box, you can have this manually if you want to. I would suggest having one guy stay outside the box, because you always want one guy on the edge just to pass the ball to, or cut the ball back to, especially your opponent is parking a bus. So that is the basic layout for the 3 centre mids. This is arguably the most important part of the formation. These players you can kind of get away with whatever instruction, but this is very important, this centre mid. That's why people use a 4-3-3. They don't like it because they don't have the work rate. So the work rates are important. One of the few formations where work rates are generally important, because a lot of the cards aren't balanced. Left back, right back, both on stay back, conservative and overlap, the same as usual. If you want to, you can put them on get forward, but you know, I just find it useless. You've already got a left wing and right wing anyway. What's the point of having them go on the inside? On the outside, okay, fine. But I just find that your defensively will just cost you too. I mean, if you really like, let's say for example, you really like to play a possession style of play, what I would say finally is put this on possession, put this on balanced or slow build up play, and then what you can do is you can put this guy on Don't put them on free roam. Put them on cut inside and balanced. Okay, put them on cut inside and balanced. Okay, and then you can put these guys on overlap, and maybe you can put your CDM on drop between defenders. So that way, when you attack, you attack. So you defend in a 4-5-1 as usual. When you attack, Onyeka drops in, and you create the back three. You have your two center mids. You have your front three attackers, and then you have the overlappers which push these players inwards. But again, you just lose that midfield presence. So what you can do is you can put this guy on stay back while attacking, and that way you got a midfield three, a back two, and these guys go forward. Now obviously when you do that, that means you're going to be very much susceptible to a counter attack. So you got to be smart. If you see your opponent has 2 players or more on stay forward, you got to change it. So that's why I would say, if you're going to have the left back and right back join the attack, what I would say is put them on stay back while attacking, and just manually activate attacking fullbacks. That way they'll run forward manually themselves. And what I'll do is I create like a walkthrough on how to use this formation as well. But that is the most important thing in terms of actual the 4-3-3. Thank you very much for watching. In terms of that, as I said, I'm not going to use it for my playstyle. I just don't enjoy it, but it has been tested out. So it should work. That's my thing for anyone wondering. And don't forget the Patreon series. Check out the defending, how to defend with CDMs, the defending tracking, and CDMs defending 101. It's very, very important, especially in the preschool series. For defending, link is down below in the description. But especially with one CDM, you always want to run back. Anyway, guys, that is the 4-3-3 second variation. Thanks for watching. Take it easy, and of course, I'll catch you next time. Peace out.